Hello everybody, I'm Tamron. YouTube recently showed me a video that it thought I would like, and it was an interview of Crystal Hefner, Hugh Hefner's widow, who is 60 years younger than he was. Hefner, of course, is the founder of Playboy. So I'm assuming that they showed it to me because I'm interested in all things women's status in the world. So I clicked on it because I'm not really interested in Playboy per se. But anyway, I clicked on it, and I clicked on it because Crystal's second stepfather, I think it is, was a financial advisor like me at Merrill Lynch, like I was. And way back when, I had heard gossip. So when I saw the interview, when YouTube presented it to me, I thought, oh, I wonder how she turned out and what she has to say. So I clicked on it. And I watched it for a few minutes, and I stopped the video, and I went to Amazon, and I bought her book. And it arrived the very next day. And I opened the box, and I thought, okay, I'll just read a few pages just to see if it's gonna be stupid or boring. So I sat down to read a couple of pages, and I ended up reading the entire book in one sitting. I finished the book at 12 o'clock at night, and I have to say that I could not put it down. I was riveted. So the idea that sex is power, or that sex work is the same as any other work, is disheartening. So I had intended on making a video about the subject, or videos about the subject, but I hadn't quite worked out how I would do that, because on this channel I want to show as much as possible, as opposed to intellectualizing or lecturing. So Crystal's book solved my problem. So I will show you her book. This is it. I hope you can see it. So if you are, it's called Only Say Good Things. So if you are interested in women's issues, in women's status, in women in the world, I highly recommend this book. So just so that no one's confused, I want to say that I'm not condoning any specific behavior or lifestyle, but I do think it's a good idea that we try to understand where people are coming from so that we can understand each other. So there was another YouTube short that was shown to me by YouTube, and it was another interview of a woman rapper. And the interviewer said something like, you started out in public life as a stripper. And she said, yeah, I did, because I came from a family that was full of drugs and alcohol and abuse and negligent, and I couldn't stay there any longer. So she went to live with her boyfriend, and then her boyfriend proceeded to beat her up. So she said that stripping was a relief for her. It was a relief because she could earn money to rent her own place to live where she was safe. So for her, in her situation, sex was power. It was a certain level of power. So there's different levels to the issue, and everybody's story is different. And so getting back to Crystal, her story reads like a roadmap of how young women get sucked into the idea that sex is power. It is a certain kind of power. It's a low-level kind of power that comes with either no safety or very low level of safety. And safety is what women who make those kinds of choices are after. In fact, psychologists say that most women are most interested in safety. We live in a 3D world, and you can look around you and see that women generally are smaller than men, and they are generally less muscled beings than men. And so one can understand why safety is so important to most women, whether they're consciously aware of it or not. So I don't want to give away her story, But I'll say that I was surprised by her honesty and her introspection and her analysis, because the memoirs I've read similar to this by other women, they were not as introspective or analytical. And I can understand under the circumstances why they wouldn't be so, which makes Crystal's book that much more interesting. So you should read her book yourself, but I do want to point out some important observations and questions that she had for herself. And one of the things that she said was that the mansion itself was not a prison. The mansion wasn't a prison. The prison was everywhere. And I thought, oh, that's so interesting. What I think she meant was the prison was just life and society. And I mentioned something like this in one of my previous videos. I said that there was a certain something that's subtle. And because it's subtle, it's very hard to spot. So you can check it out in my video here. It's called How Can Women Empower Themselves? And I'll put the link down below. But it's the same idea. So Crystal said that when she went to the mansion, she believed that sex is power. And she thought that she was going to implement her power. And she was very excited about that. She said that she bought into it because she had nothing else to buy into. And she said that she had no self-confidence ever. She emphasized it. I had no self-confidence ever. She said that that world is a glamorous mirage that turns into an invisible trap. And she asks herself, where did I learn that men hold all the power? So from the very beginning, she held within herself these two opposing ideas. The idea that, the type of power that sex confers on women, really, and the idea that men hold all the power. She also had a very interesting insight and caution. She said that Hugh Hefner and men like Hugh Hefner hold a certain influence over very young women who aspire to become part of that world. So I highly recommend the book and read it yourself and notice and observe.